After watching the manufacturing process of Japanese cameras, I finally understand why Musk is saying that Japan is the birthplace of optical devices. Musk is not wrong at all. A simple camera has to keep the error within 1/10,000th millimeter. The process difficulty is comparable to making chips. A few decades ago, this video is definitely a state secret. Here are the top 10 camera factories in the world. The first step in making a camera, we start by designing specifications through 3D modeling, then put the US version into the numerical control console, hand-pulled furniture around. Close the screen door, start switch. Numerical control of the tool will have no dead ends on the material. The processing takes only 1 minute. A magnesium alloy panel is formed. Let's take a look at the details of this thing. On the right is the finished product after cutting, as the camera panel is made and formed. Start testing now. People may not believe it. Every metal panel here needs to pass the 3-coordinate inspection. And the detection time of each block is up to 5 minutes. Detection parameters are also reflected on the screen. Once there is an error smaller than a hair, then this material can only be sold for scrap iron. And now to the next stage, the casing paint. The robotic arm will spray the paint onto the surface of the casing. This is a 3-proof paint. It can effectively avoid sweat from eroding the internal parts of the camera. Now moving on to the third step, exterior coloring. The machine will digitally print onto the surface of the shell. Then use the light to observe whether the writing on the surface is clear. Avoid defects and misalignment. Printed with housing. Now enter the strictest workshop in the field. Here all workers must dress neatly, because the image sensor in front of you can't stand the slightest bit of dust and debris. This thing has been choking us for decades. Years ago it was basically dependent on imports. According to the technical level, said that some sensors are still stuck in the neck. That's a high-precision MEMS sensor, mainly used in the chip field. For example, the lithography machine that you're all familiar with has this. I believe that in the near future, the country will also break through this layer of siege. This is a 66-megapixel full-frame size sensor. With the preliminary preparations completed, let's start assembly. First, install the sensor into the camera case. As for the inner accessories, the manufacturer does not show it. Maybe it's designed to keep them secret. Next, install the camera main board. Workers first put the main board inside the shell. Hold an electric screwdriver and drive one screw into the round hole. There is a general slot for this brand of lens. That is, it is easy to enter the dust. Next, let's see how the camera is sealed. Will the camera get gray again? First, the edge seal will use UV dendritic glue, also known as photosensitive dendritic gum. This is a curing glue composed of polymers. This adhesive is often used in printing photosensitive plates or microchip circuit diagram films. Then put it into the box for irradiation catalysis. UV resin glue takes only a moment to process. Then immediately take it out of the box. Place smoothly on the console. Then take out a piece of tape and stick it on the sensitive area to protect the main board, with the pre-assembly completed. Now start installing the camera display. To install this position, just press hard. Don't need to pay much attention. After all, it is difficult to remove it after installing it in this position. And the material is strong. If you press hard, it won't break. Compared to the soft cushioning of Japanese cars, not many people responded that their digital devices were not strong. Next comes the debugging phase. Start white balance debugging first. It is the white reference object photographed. Then read the image to observe the color. Is it even? The second step is to adjust the image sensor. It's to adjust numerical parameters in very dark scenes. Due to the different parameters of each manufacturer, he will keep it a secret. He won't show it. Next, start installing the battery back cover. After the back cover is installed, now onto quality inspection. Workers will first open the back cover of the battery, then insert the memory card into it. Then start checking the lens sharpness. Check color reproduction. Check the focus effect and screen control values. Then there will be manual testing. Take a picture to see if the image is clear, and manually rotate the focal length for visual analysis. This is just the first test. Optical analysis is not performed until the end of the video. Image vision data analytics. After the test is completed, workers have to carefully remove the memory card. In fact, every mobile phone should also be selfie tested before leaving the factory. If you are lucky, then you can also see the worker who assembled this phone for you. But that worker suffered, because that worker will be fined a certain amount. What you're seeing here is an outer layer of rubber. This thing is mainly to improve the touch of the hand. It feels softer, no anti-drop effect. So don't drop things when you're angry. After the outer rubber is assembled, start installing the lens cover. In the blink of an eye, a complete camera is formed. So let me show you a little bit of the camera. Don't look at him as small. He sold 10,000. This is the famous full-frame size camera. Now enter the final inspection before leaving the factory. First, install the lens to the camera. I have also covered this scene in detail in previous articles. You can take a look if you are interested. The worker then takes an angular photo and analyze the details and quality through photos. Every little picture has to be checked, and each factory camera must be repeatedly tested. If there is a slight product defect, it can only be fully repaired and reassembled. What do you think of such a camera?